Welcome to Inside the Force. I'm Greg Grunberg, a.k.a. Snap Wexley.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back to Inside the Force. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
We are 10 days away from a...
That's crazy.
I know, right?
It's next week.
Next week, we are getting a brand new Star Wars movie, Solo, a Star Wars story. Excitement for this thing keeps building and building each day. But before we get into all that, before I hand it over to you for some news, Casey, there's a couple things I want. I didn't even realize this until right before we started recording. It's actually George Lucas's birthday today.
Oh, geez. I honestly thought that was yesterday. This day's been crazy. Yeah. Wow, it is.
Today's Lucas's birthday. I cannot believe
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the maker.
Glad to see him at the Solo premiere.
Yes.
He's wearing the same outfit he's been wearing for 30
I know,
years.
right? I think, yeah. That's why he has all this money. He isn't buying anything. But I cannot believe I did not see or hear anything. And of course, I knew it was May 14th. I just didn't really realize today was the 14th. But of course, yes, happy birthday to George Lucas. He is 74 years young. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to just mention, and I look, you know, us, if you've listened to us on the show, we're not, we kind of shy away from the hate and, you know, and politics and all this stuff. We really just want to be fans and talk. But I got to mention something that I saw yesterday, Casey.
Okay.
Yesterday being Mother's Day. We had a great time with the family and everybody, and you get on social media and just read some great posts from people, you know, thanking their moms and all that stuff, right? So, you know, me being a Star Wars fan, obviously, I'm rifling through our Inside the Force Twitter feed and just kind of, I see somebody mention, they said something like, I'm not going to remember word for word, but it's like, they said Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I think it was like some mothers from Star Wars, and there was a picture of they had put I don't say she was, I can't remember if it was he or she, but they put 4 pictures up: a picture of Padme, of Leia, of Shmi, and of Lyra. You know, Jin's mother, right? And the first reply to this, I cannot believe I read it. The first reply was, do you realize that all 4 women raised killers?
Oh, my gosh.
Right?
Killers.
Wow. And then the next response was somebody said, do you realize that they're just movies? I mean... But there ended up being like this long thread of this guy going back and forth with people about how it was wrong to like.
Well, it's like an inaccurate statement, honestly.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I mean, killer. I mean, they're soldiers, and Lyra technically didn't raise Jin. Saw did, and
correct.
Saw did raise a brutal soldier. But you know, this is very nerdy.
But
semantics,
but I mean, that's not at all what the intent of the tweet was, you know, because honestly, to be honest, right before I read that tweet, I was thinking about putting on our feed, like, you know, I ended up tweeting out just, you know, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the galaxy, but I was actually going to do that same kind of collage with all the mothers. I
was thinking that too, and then like even throwing in, you know, Hera and throwing in. There's tons of mothers out there now. finding pictures of some of the other mothers from the books.
Yeah,
get a lot of love, but
I mean, I was like,
hilarious.
Wow, that's what people think of sometimes. And I don't want to. I didn't even write down who it was or anything like that. I just wanted to remember that and mention that. But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there,
exactly,
especially the Star Wars mothers. You know, Anyway, that's what I didn't. I forgot to. I think you had left. That's why when I saw that or something like that last night, and I was like, "What the heck?" Anyway, all right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We got a lot to talk about. Solo premiered in L.A. This past Thursday, marking the 2-week mark that everybody else in the regular world is going to watch this thing. So, but we'll get into that more. Case, off to you.
Well, there's been a lot of marketing for Solo is an incredible full swing. I don't even think I've seen all the TV spots and clips that have been coming out. Maybe it's not as many as I'm thinking, but there's been, I think, at least a few clips that have released since we recorded last, and a new featurette that just came out today. I think it was today. May 14th. Today there was a featurette with the cinematographer, Bradford Young. Did you get to see this today, Dave?
No.
It's pretty short. USA Today posted it. It's pretty short, but it's got some new footage.
I didn't watch it. I saw that. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's just really... I always love the behind-the-scenes featurettes. Anything they put out behind the scenes. I'd almost sometimes rather see that than trailers, just because I love seeing... I actually love seeing the magic behind it. So you get all the shots that we've been seeing in the trailers of like Solo and the speeder and these battles that have been happening, and some of the underworld type of locations. We get that. We get also a really cool shot of Beckett doing some like gunslinger gun flips in his hands kind of thing. It's really cool. But Bradford Young, he talks about how he lit Star Wars and how he shoots it. You actually see shots of him running with the using the camera. So it's really cool. I would definitely go check it out. USA Today posted it, but I'm sure you can find it on other Star Wars news sites. Very cool, very interesting. And then also some clips were released.
Yes,
there was the Hollow Chess one, or the Dejarik clip with Beckett playing Dejarik with Chewie, which is pretty funny.
It's the same move, isn't it?
It is. Chewie's just not good at Dejarik. He is not good at the game. Yeah, he keeps dying. And
the same move.
So
yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah,
I gotta kill that guy now. It's just like, but that clip was pretty funny. There was I actually can't remember. Yeah, the showdown with Solo and Enfys Nest. That clip got released.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty cool. And then I didn't realize what Beckett is in there. Kira's in there as well.
Yes.
It's kind of a comedic little scene there, kind of giving us a small taste, I'm sure, of what kind of comedy is coming from this movie. And then I think this was released earlier, maybe last week, but I just saw it today. It was a clip with Solo's first introduction with Beckett, and what seemed to be his first introduction with Beckett and Val.
No, I didn't see that one. Yeah,
that was actually pretty interesting. And the clip, the version I saw wasn't too good of quality. I don't know where it originated from because I couldn't find it on Star Wars' YouTube page. But it's interesting and it's something to talk about. We can talk about it on our predictions episode because it's not spoilerish, but it does give me a better idea of some of the backstory of these characters, and even a little bit of order of events, kind of steers me into a certain direction of when certain things happen and early on in the film. So go watch it if you want, but if you are trying to stay away from absolutely everything, don't watch it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too that I'm finding. I'm surprising myself because I'm not that worried about watching just clips and spots and featurettes with this movie. I just get a feeling that this movie is not going to have any. I mean, I'm sure there'll be twists in it with like maybe a certain character betrays the team, or characters die, that kind of thing. But
yeah. Well,
I'm not too.
Let me tell you though, because I watched most of the red carpet from the premiere, and I can't remember. I think it was either the Kasdans or the visual effects guys.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But somebody mentioned like the end, like the last act of the movie being like crazy.
Like they were like really cool, and then they talked about I think something something they've never done before with the visual effects team.
Oh right, okay.
I think it was something like that, which I don't know. I was talking to Cody about it. Like I think it's more so.
You think it's more just effects related?
Maybe
not story related?
Some it could be both though. Is a thing something I've never seen before. Cody and I speculated like maybe it's Jabba, and they recreated Jabba completely digitally, and him actually moving around and actually being very mobile.
Yes,
that we have never seen before.
I thought about that.
So,
or I thought about Cody, like a Boba Fett showing up or something like that.
That's what Cody was saying. Like, oh man, they recreated Slave One. We're gonna see Slave One flying around or something like that. That I mean, I never quite.
But they've done that before. In episode 2, basically.
Yeah. So I never quite thought that this movie would have like a Rogue One Vader kind of like moment where someone from the original movies is going to show up. But Jabba is very likely, but that's not what I was expecting. Like, if it was going to be something really crazy, I would think Boba Fett would show up somehow. That would be just insane.
Yeah.
To me, Jabba would also be really cool, especially if he is moving around and like knocking people around with his tail or something like that, doing something really cool. But I was already expecting to see or hear something of Jabba. It just fits. Han Solo and Jabba. But no, I'm excited to see. I hope there's something very surprising like that.
Well, that's the only reason why. Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm completely shutting myself off now from reading anything. Like I'll watch some clips. On YouTube and Star Wars' YouTube channel, because that's not, to me, that's not really spoilery. Yeah. Like you said, but I think I gotta, I just gotta stay away from interviews, and because tomorrow's the embargo lift.
Right.
So you're going to start getting a lot of reviews and everything tomorrow, but
well, so far people have been saying, like tweets, some bloggers and stuff are saying like it's great, it's fun. Alden is Han Solo, and Don Glover is Lando, kind of stuff. It's just like everybody does a great job, and Lando and Chewie really steal the show. Although Alden is great, but like Chewie and Lando are amazing. So, and I know you don't get on it, neither do I. But Reddit apparently is also heavy with spoilers right now. Cody said there is a forum that is solely titled "Solo Spoilers."
Oh God!
So if you are a Reddit person, do not go to Reddit or just stay away from those threads.
It's amazing. There are actually some people that want to be spoiled, and they want to know everything.
You just have to know. Like, why do you have to know so much?
Yeah.
Come on.
But, I mean, I don't know.
But we were about a week, a little over a week and a half away, so it's not too much longer
10 days
left.
Yep.
10 days. Very, very exciting. I'm pumped. I just talking to Cody again today about it. Like, I hope I really, really enjoy this movie. Very much like Last Jedi, where a lot of people really wanted to love it, but left wanting to love it more. So I think that we're let down. I don't think I'll be let down like that for this one, but I just think I just hope it's so fun. I'm expecting it to be super fun. And that featurette, this new featurette with Bradford Young talking about the cinematography, showing the aliens, the costumes, and the makeup, it again makes me feel like this is just going to be fun. It's going to be a really fun story.
I do think so. I do think so for sure. Well, other than that, there's with the release coming up, there's not much else going on. Now, as we get talking about the premiere, like I said, I skimmed through most of the premiere. You really get a good sense of, even though, for one, there was no mention whatsoever of the reshoots, of the director change. This is clearly, I feel like, to the actors and to the crew, that this is Ron Howard's movie.
Oh yeah.
And that's honestly, I'm just stoked. Because you realize this is the first Star Wars movie by an Oscar-winning director. You know, I mean, a guy that is proven. Not that these guys like Ryan and Gareth aren't proven, but they haven't won any awards technically for either major awards anyway for their directing skills or writing skills or anything. Ron Howard has done that, and you always expected, well, at least we did. I think we expected that ever since the acquisition by Disney and the mention of one movie every year and all this other content, you would think that you would be grabbing a lot of veteran award-winning directors and writers and actors. I mean, actors, you can argue, I guess they've gotten some high talent,
yeah, they have.
For sure. I mean, Alden and Amelia and Donald. I mean, those guys are like they're at the peak of their stardom right now. Maybe not the peak, but they're ascending really, really high. Especially Donald Glover. I mean, that guy is everywhere. So I'm stoked that it's a Ron Howard Star Wars movie. I mean, it's like, the only I guess the best thing could be is a Spielberg Star Wars movie.
Exactly.
Which
yeah.
I feel like this will have that feeling though. Like that Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Adventure. Excitement, fun. Our next episode though, we're going to get really into our expectations and we'll probably bring a couple guys on the show to do that. But so we won't jump ahead. But the premiere, again, being that said, Ron being the director on that, you can tell a lot of the actors how just really how appreciative they were of being a part of this now, and proud of the film, and even though it felt or it could feel to us fans that this thing was rushed, but I don't feel like that anymore. I don't really feel that or sense that. It's
right.
We waited and waited and waited for the marketing to start, but I feel like they've done enough marketing. I mean, there's so many of these spots coming out, TV spots. It's keeping it fresh. It's keeping it irrelevant, and I think they're doing a good job with it. I think the excitement that they started back when they released the first trailer around the Super Bowl, it's really built up that excitement pretty fast.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, there were some great interviews on the premiere, especially which we'll get into a little bit later, more in depth, but with Jon Favreau and his series that he's writing. There was again, I will get into that. There was mention of a timeline of when that thing's happening. I guess rumor-wise, it kind of came out around the same time. I think it was the same day, actually. There was rumors of the actual Obi-Wan movie that we haven't heard about in a while.
Right.
So apparently, did you hear the same thing I did? Was that it's apparently going to shoot early next year?
It's what's the rumor. Yeah, rumors say early spring, maybe March, April kind of time period. It seems like. But it's, Ewan McGregor was at the premiere.
He was.
Didn't have a beard, but he had, the short hair. That is no indicator.
No. He's got a year to grow it out.
Exactly. But I think it sounds like the rumor is they're waiting until after episode 9 wraps, which is very soon.
Yeah, that's in July, August, I think, right?
Yeah. So towards the end of the year. But I feel like with all these rumors popping up, we should be getting an official Star Wars announcement soon. I would think very soon. Maybe they're waiting until after the movie, maybe end of the month.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Memorial Day weekend might be like at the end of that weekend might be a good thing, a Tuesday or something like that. But it's got to be coming. Because,
it's coming.
I mean, there seems to be no doubt that's the next one is Kenobi. The next Star Wars movie. Yeah. I mean, if it's not Kenobi, that will be a huge shock. But if it's not Kenobi, maybe that's the one that the Game of Thrones guys will work on. Who knows?
I think it's got to be Kenobi.
Yeah, coming out kind of spitball on ideas would be so awesome. Like, because this would be like cool in the Game of Thrones alley. Is like a Kenobi movie set on Tatooine. You have these gangs, and also you have like a crate dragon, kind of like that'd be super awesome. Like, just think, imagine that, like a crate dragon in a coat. But, anyways, yeah, that's would be the coolest one. Probably that could be my favorite Star Wars movie. I'm already gonna say it. That could be, who knows?
It definitely could. Yeah,
Kenobi movie, because there's so much you can do. It's just like, but it's another one of those things where, like, well, you have to have like Qui-Gon talking to Obi-Wan.
Yes.
You have to have this.
Yoda.
Like, you have to show Yoda.
Well,
you have to show.
well, remember Yoda's
Owen
got to train him.
Yeah, so they can communicate across the galaxy. We know that now.
Yep.
Through Rebels, we got to have. There's a wide open opportunity for you to have Joel Edgerton come back as Owen Lars.
Mm-hmm.
You can set it a few 7 years after Revenge of the Sith and cast a young Luke Skywalker and be a very small role, but still be in it. And I think that would be fine, totally fine. So there's plenty of opportunities to do so many cool things and make it a great story. But I could totally see Story Group being like, no, we're not going to do that. It's too easy. We're gonna do something totally different. I don't know.
No, I think it. I mean, think of this though, because there were a couple rumors that float around that an Obi-Wan trilogy,
right?
But hell, think about an Obi-Wan movie that spanned all 19 years. Like
one movie that does it, or
one movie? No, one movie.
Oh man, that's a long movie.
That just not. But you think about it, it just time jumps. You know what I mean? Like you just get into those specific moments that just build almost like I think almost like a Castaway, where you have just one character, and he's just training, and you learn about what he's been doing all these years, and of course there's those things that pop up that he saves Luke without him knowing or something like that. It's like,
oh geez, man! Now that you said that, I think a perfect director could be Robert Zemeckis.
Exactly. Absolutely,
he would make a great Star Wars movie.
Yes,
man, that's a good choice. That's like
get Alan Silverstreet to do the score, the composition.
Zemeckis is one of those directors too. That's a solid choice. He's going to make a great movie.
Yes,
it's like a safe bet, just like all these other kind of. That's what kind of these guys are trying to do, safe bets. But Zemeckis is a great filmmaker, and he would do a great movie.
He would.
That's perfect.
And he did Castaway, didn't he? He did Castaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he did all those epic kind of
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
He did the Back to the Future trilogy.
That's totally right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, he'd be a solid choice.
He would. That's a great. I didn't even think about that till you actually.
I don't
said
even know if I've heard his name mentioned in any of these rumors.
I don't. I mean, what was the last movie he did? I don't even.
He did Did he do Sully? I think he did the Sully movie with Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
Because that kind of fits his.
That's right. He did
type of movie.
Yep.
No, sorry. I was wrong. Clint Eastwood did that.
Oh.
Gosh, what did Zemeckis? I feel like it was like a plain movie though, but maybe it wasn't. Now it's on my head. I gotta figure this out. Really
look
quick.
it up. Yeah. But I would be so drawn into just Ewan McGregor alone, and just living. Oh man, I would be all about that. I feel like that's like an Oscar movie.
Yeah.
Just a real character driven, just. The trials and terrors of living on your own in the desert, and oh man, I'd be glued to that.
Yes, I was confused. He didn't do Sully, but he did that Denzel Washington movie with the plane called Flight. That was basically
he did that.
Somewhat similar story, but most recently he did that Walk movie. That was like the guy walking on the wire between the trade centers, and that Brad Pitt spy movie Allied. So,
okay.
But I mean, gosh, he's done so many great movies. Polar Express.
Yep.
He loves breaking ground with visual effects too.
That's true.
So he's right up. He's a perfect Star Wars candidate. Come on, people, listen.
Well, yeah. Plus, he's worked with Spielberg all those times.
Yes,
and
absolutely. Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sure they know each other well too.
Really well.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Gosh, I think we just
We did it.
Yeah.
You heard it
Just
here,
spoil
folks.
that, guys, because that's that's awesome. So anyway, Obi-Wan movie possibly coming. Now you saw the clip where Han meets Han, right?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of different things that have come out from that, but I saw the initial one where he literally walks in on an interview.
Yes,
Harrison Ford does.
the EW one. Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty good. Alden's reaction was perfect.
he's like
now.
stunned. He didn't know what to
Yeah.
say. It seemed like
that
is,
which is funny because they've met prior to that. Like they've had meetings, but still, it's just you're never ready. I don't think to ever just get surprised by Harrison Ford.
Well, and that was probably what 2 years ago, maybe or something like that. I mean,
maybe
because you remember
if it's out of date.
Remember, Alden was introduced at Celebration Europe, right? 2 years ago.
Yeah, like right when he was announced.
Right when he was announced. Yeah. So I think he had said that he had met with Harrison shortly after that to just get his blessing and kind of talk things out. But I'm pretty sure they might not have seen each other since then. And Donald did the same thing with Billy D.
Yeah, Billy D was at the premiere too, and he was.
Great.
There's a picture of.
Was
Billy
Harrison
D
at the premiere?
Donald Glover. I don't know if I didn't see him.
I don't think so.
Could have been, but there's a picture of Billy D standing next to Donald Glover, and they're both dressed like just super fly. Like, it's like classic Lando. I love it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good seeing. So there's some big names at the premiere.
And then I was watching one of these clips too from Solo, and it was showing Val, played by Tandy Newton, and it's when we realized I love her. She's a great actress.
She's a great actress.
And I didn't realize she's probably a small role in the movie considering, but she's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So it's the cast. Time. You can't overlook the amazing cast. Woody Harrelson. It's just. I just watched War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
on HBO.
I have not seen that yet. Yeah, I've not seen that yet.
Awesome movie, and Woody Harrelson is always a good villain.
Yeah, he's great. But Thaddy was she was in one of my, honestly, it didn't really do well, I don't think, but I really liked it. She was in she was in was it Mission Impossible?
It's the second one.
The second one, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
With it was the one directed by John Woo.
Yeah,
and
she was great.
I really love that movie. I love John Woo
but...
movies, and I thought she was fantastic in that. Of course, she was in Crash, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a phenomenal movie. I knew that thing was going to win Best Picture when I first saw it. I mean, I was like, this, even though they only spent like $6 million on that thing, I was like, this thing's the best movie this year. Anyway, but she was fantastic in it. So I'm a big Thaddeus Newton fan. And at first, I tell you what, when I first saw pictures of Val, I didn't know that was her.
Yeah, she has a very different look.
Yeah, until I read her name in the credits, I was like, what? Yeah, great. I mean, it's a great cast. Woody Harrelson, yeah. I mean, it's Emilia Clarke, like I said, she's blowing up right now. She's all over the place. I personally, I'm glad too that I haven't seen anything that Alden's been in. So I'm like completely in the dark about his acting ability, really.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
I've seen one thing. I saw Hail Caesar in theaters. And he was kind of one of the groundbreaking performances because it's a comedy, and this is one of the first, I think, mainstream things that Alden had done. But his role was very much that wacky, funny. The movie set in the kind of like the Silver Age movies with like the classic 40s and 50s kind of movie making, and Alden plays a silent film star, like a Western silent film star. So he doesn't talk, but he's good, boyish looks, and he's very he's like an action star kind of thing. But then he starts talking, and he has the twangiest country accent you can imagine. It's like really high, kind of high pitched, and just hilarious. And so he was hilarious in the movie. He has great comedic timing in the movie.
Nice.
And and he does have that look where he can pull off kind of a Han Solo look. But he's done some other serious stuff with some big directors, but I have not seen him yet.
Yeah, I haven't. That's why I'm kind of going in. I'm glad I'm going in just completely unknown of expecting anything from him, and I just plan on listening to him be Han Solo. Because Emilia Clarke I know obviously from Game of Thrones,
right?
Donald Glover I've seen a couple episodes of Atlanta. He was in Spider-Man a little bit.
Yeah. Martian, Spider-Man, and that's about it. I haven't watched Community, but
Martian. He was in The Martian.
He had a small part. He was one of the scientist guys that they pulled in.
Oh, he was
in a couple of scenes. Yeah, he was.
I don't remember
there was that big scene where he was in this conference room with all the main.
You're right.
He was talking about the plan. So it was still that very much.
Yeah.
He wasn't a goofy comedic role, but he was still kind of that funny.
Yeah,
role. So,
you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember because I've seen The Martian. I love The Martian. The Martian's good.
Yeah.
But he was in he was in Community, but I never saw Community. So, which people rave about him that have seen Community.
Oh, yeah.
They think he's great in it.
He's just a big goofball in it.
Yeah. So, again, I've been a Woody Harrelson fan since Cheers. I've seen it. I mean, I love Woody Harrelson. So
I'll tell you, I'm very excited about Paul Bettany.
Yes, Paul Bettany, of course. Gosh,
and just recently, because I've seen, besides Avengers, he did a show about the Unabomber.
Yeah,
that was a great show. So he's very recently just gone up in my favorite actors list. He's just amazing.
Yeah, Paul Bettany,
especially as bad guy. He's really good as a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense that Ron Howard pulled him in. He going back all the way to Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany.
Very good.
So reactions to, a little bit of Twitter reactions. The first reaction that came out after the premiere, obviously, and I mean, I didn't see a negative one. I saw a couple things saying maybe, that it missed on a couple things, but overall it was a great fun. Fun was in every tweet. I feel like.
Yeah, good. That's what I want.
That's all I want too. Yeah.
I mean, that's again, it's the beauty. It's I'm sure people will have a lot of bad things to say about it, but it's just like Last Jedi. I mean, there's polls out there that we actually didn't talk about this, but there was a poll done by Star Wars, what's your favorite Star Wars movie, and Last Jedi was winning the poll after 24,000 votes. And it's just amazing because you love people have it was honestly a very strange results of poll. I disagree with the poll, but because the results were so not what I thought they would be. Not talking about Last Jedi, but all the other movies. But it's just fun because people like Star Wars movies for different reasons. And that's totally fine. And so I'm really hoping that this was.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Brian Young, I think. Yeah, that's his name, Brian Young. That's the one of the hosts of Full of Sith. And he had tweeted out, and I can't remember what the origin of this thing was. All I saw was that here's somebody's, I think it was a 15-year-old kid that he got to rank their Star Wars, the 10 Star Wars movies, including Solo, because they had seen Solo already, right? So, and I'll try to pull it up real fast, but I was taken aback because I was so thrilled to see it. But his favorite Star Wars movie was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
and
cool. Good.
Yeah, and then his second was Solo, and then he had, if I remember correctly, he had Revenge of the Sith, Solo, Rogue One, and then I think he had Episode 1. And then 9 and 10, you and I believe 9 and 10 were Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So it truly is, up to the viewer. Now, it was really neat, which I thought was cool, was that people responding to replying to the list. One of them said, I can understand the Revenge of the Sith. And he went on to explain something like, someone said, yeah, Revenge of the Sith, to me, is the most complete Star Wars movie. Where it has so much character growth from Anakin, changing into Darth Vader. It's the where you find out, how the Jedi end, how the Empire begins.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's like all these things happen in this movie, and there's so much emotion, there's so much happening in it. It's just, I don't know. It was really neat to get that explanation from that.
Cool.
But I don't know,
cool.
It's kind of hard to think about. Here it is right here. Okay, so here's the full list. Revenge of the Sith, Solo, Rogue One, Phantom Menace, A New Hope, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Attack of the Clones, Return of the Jedi, Empire. Empire being the end. That's, I mean...
Well, do you, I guess. You do you.
Yeah, he said, he's saying how Revenge of the Sith was the first movie he saw. He was 5. He and his friends at 5 would play the Mustafar battle over and over and over again and reenact it with their plastic lightsabers. Huh. So that makes sense,
5, wow.
So this is interesting. Brian Young responded to that and said, forced to make a list for myself with no ties. Here's what I've got. So he ranks the 10 movies as Return of the Jedi, number 1, then Last Jedi, Phantom Menace, A New Hope, Rogue One, Attack of the Clones, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Solo, Force Awakens.
How can you even? I mean, that's surprising.
Yeah, it is surprising, isn't it?
It's just crazy how you can put Solo in a list already. You just gotta wait, man.
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. Well, that's fine.
Anyway, it's good. Some good reactions. Some great stuff. Yeah. I wonder where Solo is going to land.
Yeah.
Right now, I would say I'm going out on a limb right here.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's going to land in top 3 for me right now.
I hope so for me. I hope it's definitely up there because I just want to have some fun.
Yeah,
when I watch it.
Well, and which is quite the difference from, Rogue One, because I was watching Rogue One again this past weekend, and watching that movie, it's so intense and just draws you into what's happening in the action but there's no heart, besides K2 there's no laughs, like you're not laughing. It's right. It's still fun to watch, and it's really good. Probably my moving up there easily right next to Empire is my favorite Star Wars movie. But again, I'm not laughing. I'm not, really enjoying it like I think I am going to enjoy Solo. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Look, that's the thing. You don't really laugh in Star Wars movies.
No, you don't.
You really don't. So that's what was hard to get used to for Last Jedi, because there were moments where I was like, "That's pretty funny." Like there was a few pretty funny moments, but yeah, I mean, Solo might do that even more, So I guess I'm more open to the fact that there'll be more comedy going into this movie, so it probably won't throw me as much as Last Jedi did. But
yeah, I agree.
But I mean, it's just a new era, I suppose.
Yep.
Star Wars. So
Okay, so the big news, I guess, from the premiere and kind of following through to the weekend has been Favreau's interview, particularly the one with Nerdist that they released. Dan Casey, I think, was doing the interview with Jon Favreau, and he got he went back on what he tweeted because he miswrote it. But at first, it was released. It was said that his Star Wars live action TV series for Disney streaming service next year was going to be taking place 7 years after Return of the Jedi. But then he, like I said, he recanted it and said, sorry, misspoke. It actually takes place 7 years after A New Hope. So the Battle of Yavin, right? Which puts that basically 2 years after the Battle of Jakku.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you scoring at home, it's A New Hope. 3 years later, it's Empire. 1 year later is Return of the Jedi. And then 1 year after that is the Battle of Jakku, which pretty much ended the Galactic Civil War, the final battle.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that battle in Battlefront 2. If you read the Aftermath books, it takes you through that year basically of conflict with a new group of rebels. So Ben Solo, put in time frame, he's about 2 years old. If you
right, so
ahead.
Last Shot, right?
Yes,
is that what it is?
Yeah, so Last Shot takes
period.
place 7 years, pretty much after A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So right at that timeline, again, we're getting all new characters apparently. So let's just talk about it a little bit. What do you think now, knowing the time frame? What characters or what things are we going to be talking about in this series?
Well, I kind of believe that it will be mostly new characters. Like the main cast will be new. I can't imagine because it's live action, so I can't imagine we would see cameos from original characters,
right?
Unless I would not be surprised. I would very much actually welcome the fact that they brought Genevieve back from Mon Mothma.
Oh, wow! Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
I'm actually looking up because I just wanted to say her name correctly. It's Genevieve, right? I feel like I always question myself on this.
Genevieve,
Genevieve O'Reilly. So if they come, done her, because she'd be obviously much older, not much. So 7 years older than how she played in Rogue One. But of course she would try to look more like how Mon Mothma looks in Return of the Jedi. But I think the story has to be still some of that fallout after Jakku, and New Republic is picking up the pieces. Now, I actually haven't started Last Shot yet. I'm actually hoping to start it tomorrow. I'm not sure of the kind of state of things in Last Shot in terms of where the New Republic stands and kind of rebuilding from the Battle of Jakku. But I feel like, I guess you can just correct me if I'm wrong, and my theories could be wrong, but it seems like it'd be a good story to tell, partly the New Republic rebuilding and actually trying to gain a foothold in the galaxy again and bring peace. Meanwhile, you have, and to me this is where the show could really be something unique. Basically, it's like the underworld stories that we've told years ago that there are scripts about. Basically, it's like those similar stories where you have the cartels, you have the gangs rising up through the galaxy. Because in reading Bloodline, it was great reading Bloodline because you get the sense where the New Republic is the government of the galaxy and they are successful. However, they do not have the amount of control throughout the galaxy that the Empire did, mainly because they won't go to the lengths that the Empire went to gain that control. So, and because of that, crime, like the crime lords and the cartels, have kind of brought a little more chaos throughout the galaxy, and for that. And so I feel like that you can have the kind of the rise of organized crime, and showing how the New Republic, even though although it is good and how it operates, it isn't as effective in certain areas as the Empire. So to me, that would be a great kind of moral back and forth of like the pros and cons of Empire and Republic.
Yeah, I'll wait to review Last Shot till you get through it, but I finished it the other day, and you're right. There's very little about the state of the Republic in this. There's a little bit of Leia. There's a little bit of, you do get a sense that they're trying to rebuild, but it's still pretty early, and they're still trying to figure it out. So, yeah, definitely. I think you have to. Yeah, like I said, I think even though we've learned through a couple of different things, comics, books, and all that stuff, that after the Battle of Jakku, when they signed, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Masamita is the one that signs the surrender in a sense.
I think that's right.
Ultimately, kind of, even though it's like there's so much. That's the thing too, is there's so many stories so far going around the Battle of Jakku. Where Masamita falls into this. Of course, people may have not known, but if you read the Aftermath trilogy, Gallius Rax is the main kind of villain behind the Empire after the Emperor was killed. Even though it was even though that there's still like Inferno Squad, that whole thing with Battlefront 2, where you had her father kind of initiated that Operation Cinder, and again in Battlefront 2 you end up fighting against during the Battle of Jakku against the people that you fight against in the Inferno Squad. I can't remember what Paul Blackthorne's character's name was.
That was Gideon Haas.
Yeah, Haas. You're right. So so there's like all these different things, these storylines going on. Well, but in the end, we know that Admiral Sloan took the remnants to the unknown regions, where ultimately the First Order, gained their power, and you find out that they got funded a certain way out there, blah 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 blah, and somehow Snoke gets involved and he gets Ben. But anyway, so you have all this happening, but you don't really know. You don't know yet. After they leave, they obviously they didn't take every Imperial with them, so there's probably buckets of stormtroopers and officers and Star Destroyers still kind of scattered throughout the galaxy that you have to fight, and so it makes sense that possibly this is still possibly a little bit of a war movie. Could be, like the Republic soldiers, like going out and kind of finishing the job. It could be. Actually, I just thought of this. It could be their take of a different type of Inferno Squad that goes out and finds the remaining Imperials and imprisons them. So kind of a policing, I don't know which, I was thinking of some bounty show or something like that goes out and just tries to, what would be awesome? I'm completely throwing this out. But what if that group of people that were in Aftermath,
the main characters?
Yeah, like their names escape me.
Joss, Amari, and Snap's mom.
Yeah,
Nora and everybody.
Nora Wexley, and I don't know. That I feel like it's that kind of group of people that maybe go out and because like you said, you can't. If you stay too close to Coruscant or Corellia or Chandrilla, wherever they established the Republic right away, I can't remember. I think I don't know if I think they might establish it in Chandrilla right away.
I think that's right. Yeah,
but I agree. I think Mothma would be great, but there's no way you can show Leia. There's no way you can show Han.
No.
Luke immediately goes away and starts looking for temples and stuff like that, artifacts. But I think you definitely can put Mothma in there, and maybe she's the one that kind of organizes a squad or something like that goes out. I think that would be a pretty cool series.
I think it'd be cool. You can even, heck, if you want to tie it to the movies, you can have Poe's parents somehow play a role.
True.
They're
Very
around
true.
there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing in this time period.
That's right. Both his parents survived Endor, so I don't know if we know. I guess they fought in Jakku. I think didn't they finish? Did they kind of leave after Endor?
I was it in Shattered Empire because I can't remember. I know like Poe's mom did a couple things with Luke there, but I have to read that series again.
Yeah. So I guess. I mean, again, it's a fully unexplored time besides Last Shot now, but this is going to be definitely a different part of that.
Yeah.
So it sounds fine. I mean, I think you'll think we'll. But do you think we'll get? I mean, there's no way, according to Bloodline, there's no way that we would get any hint of a First Order or anything like that, or Snoke or anything.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like almost parallel stories. Like you got some unknown regions stuff happening and some core world stuff happening. But no, they can't come, but they wouldn't be able to come into contact with each other.
Right.
So it probably wouldn't be that interesting. It'd be two completely isolated stories and two completely different shows.
Yeah.
So it probably wouldn't be. Yeah, like you said, if anything, it would be remnants of Empire, kind of like scattering, mopping up, essentially. Where, to me, it seems like the biggest conflict would have to be, just crime, organized crime, and bringing back the syndicates and everything.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, totally. I mean, the thing about it too, yeah, what you could have a lot of too is if the Republic. The New Republic could be putting bounties out there for Imperials, and then you have bounty hunters getting involved, going after, Imperials.
I mean, it could
officers.
definitely straight up be an underworld show. Like
Definitely
those scripts, just reworked a little bit. I mean, they're already there, so rework them a bit. So it could be starting off on Coruscant, where you are following some bounty hunters, and then the rest of the series is going from planet to planet to. Track down people, that kind of stuff. That would be pretty cool.
Would be very cool. Yep, very cool. Yeah, so we'll just have to see. I mean, I think Favreau revealed that half the scripts are written.
That's great. Wow.
And there hasn't been a reveal of like total episodes yet, which I feel like on a streaming service we're talking 12 13 episodes, similar to like Netflix. So if that's true, then he's got 6-7 scripts written already. I mean, they got to be going to production for that very soon. I mean, if we're talking about releasing it next year, I mean, you're basically shooting 12 movies,
4 or 5 movies.
Yeah, I mean 12 shorts, hour-long movies, it's like...
Yeah.
So hopefully... But again, it's like, I think it's almost like one big movie, because if you think about it, like, binge-watching that episode is like,
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so awesome.
so crazy, yeah. So, I think that's it. Is that it for this episode?
That's pretty much it, man.
Yeah. So, leading up to the release of Solo on May 24th, you will be getting a couple more episodes from us, like we said earlier, and focusing on next one will be bringing some guys on here and talking about our expectations for the movie, what we feel like we're going to get out of it, what we, where it's going to land kind of on our lists. It's just, obviously more reactions to the film will be out this week, reviews and stuff like that. So, we'll just talk about all that, and then whatever news comes out, and then of course right before the movie we will Casey and I will do our predictions episode, which is something we've done every movie that's come out since Force Awakens, where we literally talk about what we predict.
We tell you what's going to happen.
We do tell you what's. That's exactly right.
What it is.
So you don't want to be spoiled. Don't listen.
Yeah.
But we want you to listen because that's the whole point. As you're waiting for the movie, give us a little listen. It's a little shorter episode. We'll,
it's like Waterboy. It's like, oh, what'd you think? It's like it tells the score at the end. It's like, a guess. It's not guess. It's what's going to be.
It's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So, of course, thanks everybody for listening. InsideTheForce.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. He's Crypto2113 on Twitter. I'm DCountingham21 on Twitter.
Check our episode or our website. It's a little different.
Yes. A little theme for Solo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start that going each time.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we'll probably do it after the movie comes out, but we'll get I mentioned it last episode, Star Wars Odyssey, the fan film that's coming out here. I think in June is where they're trying to get this thing out, but Mark Alex Vogt will be getting on the show here soon. But as we lead up to Solo, we'll make sure that gets out of the way, and then we'll focus really on helping them guys get this movie out there. The trailer, you can go to their YouTube channel and watch it. I'm sorry, their Facebook. It leads to their YouTube, but facebook.com/odyssey.starwars. Go there, check them out. Great looking trailer, beach film. Looking forward to seeing that thing when it comes out. So. Again, go to their Facebook page, facebook.com/odyssey.starwars. And other than that, we will check up with you guys later in the week.
Yep.
For Casey Cooley.
3PO, you tell that slimy piece of worm-ridden filth he'll get no such pleasure from us.
Yeah, I would do the Chewbacca response, but I'm no good at that. Yeah, there you go. I feel like everybody could do it, but me, I can't do it.
I can only do like that whine. I can't do his roar,
the growl. Yeah,
it's just like a. I can't do it as a sound.
I mean, and apparently Jonas does all the sounds. And
that's insane to me.
That is really insane. Like he's got the whole language down, and of course, there's a whole big debate about the language. Have you seen that? Li and Chi kind of.
No.
Yeah,
that's funny.
There's actually was it Shrywook,
I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
So it's like Huttese, where it's a whole language they're actually putting together. It's crazy, and growls and moans and whatever. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how they're going to do that. That's great, though.
Funny.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week. We'll check us back here later at the end of this week as we talk more and get ready for Solo. Thanks, Case.
Yep. See you, man.
Take care, everybody. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.